Good Saturday evening. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Melissa Thomas here with your educational moment for the evening. Today we're going to be talking cool weather phenomenon. If you like pretty colors and cool names, you are going to love this meteorological phenomenon. If you watched Chief Meteorologist Ross Whitley's educational moment on lightning, we're going to be bouncing off of that, but we're going to be looking above the thunderstorm for this cool attribute of thunderstorms. These don't always happen in every single thunderstorm. When they do happen, they're big thunderstorms. And for that reason, because they don't happen in every single big thunderstorm, researchers are still trying to figure out exactly what causes them. They have a few ideas of what they correlate with or what they're related to, and they typically occur when big thunderstorms have big electric discharges. So lightning that has a big difference in charge and blasts out this electromagnetic energy into the atmosphere, and it causes these things. So they're really cool. Let's jump right into it. The first one we're going to start with is kind of cool. It is what it is. Its name speaks for itself. Blue jets, and they shoot up from the top of thunderstorms, and they're connected to the thunderstorm clouds themselves. So that's going to be something that's a little bit different with blue jets than the other stuff we'll look at. They're connected to the cloud, and they go up about 25 to 30 miles above the thunderstorm. The next one is my favorite, and it's what got me interested in this phenomenon. I saw a photographer's photo who had caught these. It's very rare to catch these things, especially on the ground. You have to have super awesome cameras, super awesome timing, and this person caught them. And first time I saw it was like, what? They're different colors than typical lightning. They're extending up into space. So, I love everything space too. So obviously I was like, lightning into space? Yes, I need to learn more. The next one, I have pictures to show you of blue jets and sprites, but this guy, the elves, I couldn't find a NASA or NOAA picture of elves because they are even more rare. You gotta have a certain type of camera to catch them, and when they occur, they only last like in a thousandth of a second, so really quickly, and they are associated with big electromagnetic pulses into the atmosphere as well. So let's jump right into the overview of these phenomenons. I don't have a picture of the elves, but I have this rendition that I can show you the gist of what elves are, which they chose a really bright green color, which is my favorite color. So I think I would like to see an elf one day, or a real picture of an elf. So there's the big thunderstorm, and just like Chief Meteorologist Ross Whitley covered in his educational moment, you have your regular lightning underneath the thunderstorm, positive cloud-to-ground flashes, and even some spider lightning is shown on this rendition. Really cool lightning that, speaks for itself. Looks like spider legs, and they crawl across the base of the thunderstorms, like when you're looking up at it and you see those lots of branches lightning just crawl across the entire sky but don't really go to the ground. That's spider lightning. And then above the thunderstorm, there are conventional lightning that does occur, reaches up to the sky. You have a difference in charge between the top of the thunderstorm and some air around it, and to balance that charge out, doop, lightning happens between those two charges, and it's balanced. The upward superbolt, I'm actually a fan of superbolts. Those can happen downward too, and they're like big columns of super strong lightning that happen. And I believe I saw a superbolt once, and it was loud. Lots of energy involved with those guys. Very bright too. Now the blue jets, there's that phenomenon we're talking about, and it is connected to the base or the top of that thunderstorm cloud. So you can see there, it shoots up and it has the little blue streaks, and towards the end of it, and with this graph, we use kilometers for our altitude. So you can see that it kind of stops at about 50,000 meters, so 50 kilometers into the sky. And then there's my favorite, these sprites. And when people were observing these over the years, way back in the day, before we really understood what they were or started to understand what they might be, they were described as jellyfish in the sky above the thunderstorms. Isn't that cool? I can kind of see it because they have those tendrils shooting down from the sprites, and then the sprites shooting up into the sky with a slightly different color red and a little bit thicker of a head to it. So they looked like floating jellyfish when people would catch them with their naked eyes in the sky. And then you have your elves, which is like a circle, a big old circle around the thunderstorm and associated sprites and lightning, and they think those are associated with big electromagnetic pulses into the atmosphere. And you can see the sprites, they reach above the stratosphere, through the mesosphere, and even get into right near the ionosphere. So these things stretch through all layers, most upper layers of the atmosphere, moving into space. It's really, really cool stuff. And like I said, they usually happen with big thunderstorms, but not all of them. So they're very, very rare. And big thunderstorms usually have a lot of electrical energy in them, so they are prone to producing these things every now and then. So here's our first picture. These pictures are taken from space shuttle stations, space stations that are orbiting around the Earth. So we've got pictures from above the thunderstorms of these phenomenon. And but you can, across the internet and over the years, if you're studying fascination of meteorology, you will come across photographers that catch sprites from the ground. Above thunderstorms are so far away from the thunderstorm, they can see above the thunderstorm and the associated night sky and space behind them, and they've caught sprites from the ground, and it's a really cool thing. So right here, if I were to ask you what this is, I'm pretty sure you could tell me what it was. It's a blue jet. Looks just like a blue jet, extending from the top of this thunderstorm, and it is connected to the cloud base. So there's that blue extending into the night sky above that thunderstorm. And here's my favorite, the sprites with their associated tendrils. You can see it looks just like the drawing. This was another picture taken from space, and this is a cool picture because there's a lot going on in it. We're going to start with the fact that you can see the anvil of the thunderstorm cloud hitting the clouds. This thunderstorm has shot all the clouds. They've risen with all of this energy and producing this thunderstorm, but the stratosphere acts like a lid to thunderstorms and stops the rising of those clouds. You cannot pass. You shall not pass is the stratosphere to these clouds. And that stretches the clouds. They hit that lid, and then they can't go anywhere else, so they go to the side. And so when you see big thunderstorms that reach that stratosphere and they just flatten out and start to move left and right, that's the anvil, and they've hit the stratosphere where they can no longer continue to rise, so they go sideways. And there is the bright flash of electric energy at the top of the thunderstorm, and then not touching the clouds, further up into the atmosphere, about 60 miles up. So your blue jets can extend 25 to 30 miles above the thunderstorm. These guys can average 60 miles above the thunderstorm. So you can see the tendrils, you can see the bright red of the sprite, and I can see now more where they do look like jellyfish. Yeah, floating jellyfish in space, getting near space. And then the other cool thing, when I was talking about there's just so much going on in this picture, is you can see the different levels of the layers of atmosphere. So the troposphere is where the storm's at, the stratosphere starts where it flattens out, then you have the mesosphere, and then these tendrils and the sprites are just reaching the ionosphere, which you can see that haze around it, another layer just above those sprites, and then behind it you can see the night sky and the stars. So just as humans are always trying to reach the stars, it looks like the electric energy in thunderstorms have their own arms, you could say, that are reaching up to the stars, just like humans are. These little sprites just of electrical energy reaching out to space. So it's really cool stuff. I love it. I love space. I love lightning. This is a cool, I love colors. This is a really cool mix of all the things that I'm interested in. So hopefully you think this was a pretty cool tour of a lightning phenomenon or electric phenomenon, thunderstorm phenomenon. And if you ever are lucky enough to see one, definitely get on my page and share it with me. Tell me all about it. I have not seen one. I would love to see some. And if you're even luckier to catch a picture of them, definitely share it. And the more researchers dive into understanding what causes these things, when they happen, more pictures will probably come out over the decades because, well, we'll know when they happen. We'll be waiting on them. I hope you enjoyed this segment, and until the next educational moment, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay safe, stay healthy out there.